Hello and welcome to 2Byte. My name is Madison and we are going to be taking a look at what is programming. Now, this is my first video on the channel, so I want to thank you for watching. And I want to go over, before we get into this episode, kind of what this channel is and who this channel is for. Now, with programming, if you are brand new and you are looking for a great place to get started, or you are wanting to learn the fundamentals, this is the place that you want to be. Now, I do want to make it very clear that the languages we will be programming in are going to be C# and Java. Now, primarily, we're going to be in C#. We will do some demonstrations and some activities in Java as well, but C# is going to be the primary language we will be programming in. Now, with that, let's go ahead and get started into this episode. So to answer the question, what is programming? Let's take a look at a real-world example. Now, this example is one of my favorites, but it is by no means going to be an accurate representation on how to bake a cake. And you heard that right. We're going to be baking a cake. Now, to use this example, let's look at our cake. So we've got a slice of cake here. Now, we can look at this cake in two different ways. The first being, what's used to actually make this cake? What kind of ingredients do we need to make the cake? And then the second is going to be, what are the instructions to actually make the cake? So, looking at the first section on this cake, the ingredients, what we can think about is, well, the ingredients. What's used to actually make a cake? Some of the most common things that we could probably think of would be flour, eggs, butter, and milk. Let's go with those four for right now. So we have our ingredients. Now, if you were thrown into a kitchen and you had these ingredients in front of you and no one told you what to do, there's a good chance that you might not know that you're baking a cake. And so that's why we need instructions. Now, when we look at these ingredients, we need to know what to do with them. So let's write out some of those instructions. We could preheat the oven to 350. We could mix our ingredients together. We could pour it into a pan. And then we could place it in the oven. So now we have our two portions of this theoretical cake. We have our ingredients and we have our instructions here. So going back to our ingredients, from here going forward, we are no longer going to call them ingredients. We're going to call them variables. Now, you may have heard this term before, maybe in a math class that you've had. So when we look at variables, something like x equals 25, and then you have some sort of formula that you need to use x in to solve, x is our variable. It is something that can change. And so for us, our variables are the ingredients. So with our variables, we need to think about how we can bake the cake. So we're going to preheat the oven to 350. We're going to mix in together all of our variables. We are going to pour them into a pan, and then we're going to place the pan into the oven. Mixing these two, the variables and the instructions at the end, is going to give us our cake. This is the fundamentals to computer programming. In the next episode, we are going to look at C# programming. We're going to look at Visual Studio, and we are going to write a very basic program, and we are going to break down what is happening in the program to match with this episode, our analogy with the cake. I want to thank you for watching today. I know it was a little bit of a short episode. We are just getting started with the fundamentals of programming, but I hope you stick around for the episodes that are to come. We will be ramping up into more advanced topics. We'll be covering things like arrays and lists. We'll be getting into object-oriented programming, but I don't want you to think about any of that right now. I want you to focus on what you've learned here today and take it into the next episode.